One.
Alrighty, so now we're recording this lesson. Everybody say hi.
Hi.
Alrighty, so today we're going to talk about angles. The three concepts that we're mostly going to talk about. We're going to learn how to name angles. We're going to learn what a component angle is, a complementary angle, a supplementary angle, and a vertical angle is. And then you're going to do some practice on this. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So first thing we're doing is we're going to learn how to identify an angle. Now, this one's the really hard part. Okay? So the first thing we have to do is we have to draw a single point.
Oh my goodness.
Guess what we're going to name it?
What?
A.
Oh.
Okay. Her name is A.
How's
Okay?
the name of God?
So her name is A, and she's going to have a friend called B.
Oh my
Okay?
goodness.
So this would be called point A, and this would be point B. Make sense, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, if I were to draw a line to it, that would be called
Baby.
line AB, and we would label it as AB with a line on top of it. Line AB. How are we feeling so far on this?
Yeah.
Making sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Makes sense. Okay. Well, if we continue the line, okay, and it goes on forever, we have that angle. This is something called a ray. Okay? Think about like a ray of sunshine, right? It just keeps going unless it gets blocked by something. Make sense? Evan? Thank you. Okay. So this is just the line though. This doesn't give us much, does it? We need another spot if we're going to talk about angles. Aren't we? So we're going to label the point C. We're also going to connect this line. What is that line called up there?
AC line.
Line AC. Very good. So we have line AC here. Everybody comfortable with that? Any questions? Cool. So we know that that line is called AC. We know that that other line is called AB. What do you think my angle is going to be called? By the way, when we name an angle, we put the angle sign in front of it, and then we list the letters. So I want you to turn and talk. What do you think this angle is going to be called?
Line.
It's an angle, so it's a line.
Ah.
Four, three, two, and one. We'd like to take a guess. Go ahead. A, B, A, C. So there's only three of them. So A, B, C, maybe? Sure. That's one option. Who'd like to give me another answer? B, A, C. Anybody else? Parker? C, A, B. Anybody else? A, C, B. Anybody else? B, C, A. All right. Anybody else? Well, let's figure out which angles might be correct. Okay? Well, we can figure it out by starting with the first letter, yes? So where are we going to start here for the first one? We're going to start at A, and what's happening to A? We're going from A to B, and then B to
No.
No, why not? Because does B and C connect? Doesn't connect, does it? We'll talk about it. So A, B, C does not work because they don't connect. Okay. What about B, A, C? Where do we need to start? We start at B, then we go to
A.
then we go to C. Does that work? It does work. Very good. What about angle CAD? Where do we start?
C.
Start at C.
A.
Go to A.
B.
Go to B. Does that work?
Yes.
It does work. What about say angle ACB?
No.
Why not?
Because
Because it starts at A, goes to C, but it does not connect to B, does it? So that wouldn't work. What about angle BCA? Why not? B and C don't connect, do they? So what are the two names that we could name this angle?
or CAB.
BAC and CAB. Okay. Now, is there a correct one? No. Either one works. There's no real pickiness to it. Okay. Please. Thank you. So congratulations, you learned how to make these angles. Yes. A is always in the middle, and we call this special word a vertex. Vertex, the center of it all. Good? So I want to see how well you got this. How are you feeling on the naming convention? All righty. Want to see how you really do. We're going to make it slightly more complicated. You ready? So there's one line. There's another line. We're going to do A, B, C, D, and E. First things first, before we go into labeling anything, where is my vertex? E is my vertex. It's the center of the whole operation, right? Your job is I want you to name, how many angles do I have here?
4.
I actually have more. But we'll talk about those other angles in a second. I want you to label these 4 angles. I want you to turn and talk first, okay? Turn and talk, try to figure out what the angle names are. And then if you feel comfortable, come on up, you label it. Turn and talk. So I have some angles here. I have angle BEC. Do we agree with that? Do we agree with angle CED?
Yes.
Do you agree with angle DEA, or in this case AED?
Yeah.
And what about angle BEA?
Yeah.
How we feel on that? Okay. Now let's try some individual. Okay. On Khan Academy, you'll notice on the scroll bar to your left, right? The scroll bar to the left, the first thing has angle introduction. Yes?
Mhm.
Underneath it has, instead of a play button, it has a little pencil mark. I want you to go ahead and click the one that says practice name angles. Okay? Practice naming angles. That's what you're going to work on for now. I'm going to give you about 3 to 5 minutes to complete that. And then we will move on. Are you okay? Are you working on it? You already finished the practice? Mhm. You finished it? Awesome. Oh, there you go. Yes, this is recording. No, it's not supposed to be hard. All right, is anything still working on the naming? Going once? Twice? All right. So I heard you say. Okay, so we have three angles here, yes? And in previous classes, you should have learned their names, correct? Do these look familiar?
Acute.
This is called a right triangle, a right angle, right?
Yeah.
This one's called an
Acute.
acute. And this one's called an obtuse. Obtuse rubber goose, right? Fairly out there. Oh, right? So we got a right angle, acute angle, and obtuse angle. Do we feel good about that? What do we know about these? The right angle is always going to be 90 degrees. Very good. So the right angle will always be 90 degrees. What about an acute angle? Less than 90 degrees. What can I use as an example? 45 degrees. Sure. 89 would technically count. Yes. What about an obtuse angle? Greater than 90. So yes, 91 would technically be an obtuse angle, but this would look more along the lines of
120.
20, just because. Okay. Okay. So those are basics. We feel comfortable with that?
Yep.
Fantastic. We're going to talk about complementary angles right now. And that involves a right angle. So we already know that a right angle is what? 90 degrees, right? Let's see. So I already know that this is 90 degrees, right? 90 degrees. What happens if I put a new point inside this angle? So I'm going to put it right here. What happens if I do this? Only one acute angle? I do. So I have the angle A, B, C, and what degree is A, B, C?
90.
You know this is 90 degrees, right? What other angles do I have? I have A, B, D, and I have D, B, C, or C, B, D. Either way work. Do I happen to know how big those angles are?
No.
No, but do we have a guesstimation of how big they might be? They both will be, they'll be acute, so they will both be less than 90, won't they? So let's say I'm generous. I feel pretty generous today. Let's say I'm going to tell you that ABD is 35 degrees. I'm telling you that ABD is 35 degrees. With your partner, all the information's there. I want you to figure out what is the angle of DBC. Do not shout it out. Talk to each other. Try to figure out what is the angle of DBC. Question or answer? Okay, we ready? You have an answer? Okay, what is the angle for DBC?
55.
55 degrees. How'd you come up with that?
90 minus 35.
How did you figure that out?
Continuing.
You have smarts. Interesting way to put it. I agree. You all are brilliant. But we know that the total angle is 90 degrees, right? And if I tell you that a part of that 90 degrees is 35, the rest of it will be 55. Wow. 35 plus 55 equals 90. Or to solve the missing part, we would do 90 minus 35. Very, very good. Okay. Now, I've got a straight line. Did you know I have an angle here?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is my angle?
180, looks straight.
My angle is ABC. Okay? I have the angle ABC. Now, let's say I'm going straight up to D. And I tell you that's a 90-degree angle. Fair enough? So what does that tell you about angle DBC? ABC is 90 degrees, okay? And as some of you already know, a straight line is what degree? 180 degrees. Very good. To kind of get a more visual representation of it, can I get some of you come up here real fast?
Yeah.
Volunteer. Evan, come on up. Please don't stand on that. It's okay. Go ahead and stand on one of these squares. Okay, I want you to face that wall for me. Okay, Evan, if I were to ask you to turn 180 degrees, how would you do it?
Well, I would turn around again.
Are you still in the same line?
Yeah.
Right? We start on that side and we face that side. Is he still facing the same line?
Yeah.
He is. Very good. Turn back to your starting position. If I asked you to turn 90 degrees, what would you do? You would turn 90 degrees, right? You would turn to the side. So if we start here, we go 90 degrees, we go only to the 90-degree angle. Does that make sense? If we go 180, we go here. So if we take a look-see at this, right? Okay, we go to here, right? And then for 180, as Evan did, we turn all the way to point C, right? Okay? So what if I told you to turn 270 degrees? Close. Right there. What if I go back to your starting position? What if I told you to turn 360 degrees?
360. Oh, 60.
Okay, what if I told you to turn 90 degrees?
Oh, baby trick.
Turn 90 degrees. Okay, so that's 90 degrees. Now we're going to add another 90. 90 plus 90 is
180.
180. Then we're going to add another 90. 190. 180 plus 90 is 270. 270 plus 90 is 360. Take a seat. So as you can see, the angles will form a full circle, which is how big, which is the angles of the circle. Make sense? Okay, so we learned that a complementary angle, right, is here. These two are complementary angles. I forgot to recap that, sorry. So 35 degrees, 55 degrees. These are complementary because they're inside of the 90 degree. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Okay, then we have a supplementary angle. So if I told you that this is 90 degrees, how big does this angle have to be? 90 degrees. Why?
This is 180. And it's going to form a straight line.
It's a straight line, so this is 180 degrees, and 90 and 90 make 180, yes? So what happens if instead of a nice, easy 90 degrees, I tell you that angle ABD, excuse me, is 45 degrees. ABD is 45 degrees. Your job with a partner is to find the angle to DBC. Turn and talk. Four, three, two, and one. Trelise, what's my answer? I don't know.
Because you have to subtract 180 from, you have to subtract 45 from 180.
We know the total angle for ABC is 180 degrees. We know that this acute angle is 45 degrees. In order to find the difference, whatever's left over, we would subtract it to get 135 degrees. Excellent. And these two angles would be called supplementary angles. Okay? So complementary angles are based off of 90 degrees. supplementary angles are based off of 180 degrees. Any questions? Yes. We're gonna talk about that. So, how comfortable are you with these? Do you think you can solve these pretty simple? Alrighty, I want you to combine all your knowledge. We're gonna talk about vertical angles. I'm only gonna do one thing. I'm gonna tell you that angle BEC, let's do 50 degrees. I'm not telling you anything. Your job is to figure out these other angles. With your partner, get started. Double check that. Make sure you're doing your math slowly. So you found the possibly. Alrighty. You got it? Alrighty, 3, 2, and 1. So I have angle BEC, right? We know that that's 50 degrees. Who feels they know one of the other angles? Miranda, I haven't heard from you today.
Because the ABC is a line, 180 minus 50 is 30.
This line. So she knew that a line AEC is 180 degrees, right? That's how far away from the angle of the line is. But we know part of that is 50 degrees, so whatever's left over will be the angle for AED. Very good. So we would connect these lines. 130 degrees. Fantastic. Who feels like they know another angle? Julia?
I got the same thing for a different way.
What do you mean?
So I know that if 180, I would say is half the circle, and you have two sides to it. I would say that that's 360 degrees. So we have 290 minus 100 divided by 2.
I don't like you. That's way too good of an idea. Yes, that works out perfectly. So it's going to be a full circle, yes? So we know that this is 180, right? So we could multiply that by 2 to get 360. So that means we could multiply 50 by 2 because 360, right? That would give us 100. Subtract that from 180. Subtract that from 360. And then we would divide that by 2. Yes.
That's the
Darn.
easy one.
I love that idea, Julia. You have another idea.
I thought that B and C, BEC, that's 50-degree angle.
Yep.
And you just subtract, add 90,
90 plus 50 is 140.
40.
Not quite, but good try. Good try. I like the thought process. You were focusing on the right angles, but what lines, but the whole line is what for 3? 180, right?
Also, AED is like the same as
How do you know they're the same? And if you say they look the same, that's dangerous because it's not always the case.
but also, yeah.
They are. They're both acute, yes, but I need a mathematical way to figure that out.
I just realized you can make the
we go up to 90 degrees to change those and then take 50 away to get the 30 and then add that to 90 on the left side and get 130.
Very convoluted way to go about it, but you are not wrong. You are not wrong at all. Parker.
So BEC would be the same as AED, because they're both straight lines.
And they can't like squiggle, and so it has to be the same.
So here's the thing, kiddos. You all are already applying higher level mathematics ideas. Yes, you are 100% correct. This angle, AEB, and angle BEC are the same. AEB and angle BEC are also the same because of the fact that we have two straight lines crossing. You are 100% correct. Proving this mathematically, right? We have BED is a straight line as well, isn't it? Right? BED is a straight line, so 130. 180 minus 130 is 50. Okay, and AEC is a straight line, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's 180 minus 50? 130. And what is D and DEB? It's also a straight line, isn't it? So minus 50 is 130 as well. So that's how we can mathematically show this. You all are using some things called proofs. These are activities and concepts that we will learn more about when we hit geometry. But you are completely right. Very good. I'm really proud of you, actually. You already jumped the gun on that. So, how are we feeling on this? Feel like I could get an A on the test on just this material that I taught right now? B or C? I think I'm going to fail the test. Okay. So, what I want you to do then, okay? You see how this first play button talks about angles, introductions? We skipped that and we did the practice naming angles, right? And then there's supposed to be 2 videos that say complementary, supplementary, and vertical, yes? Okay, you have 3 activities to complete. Practice identifying supplementary, complementary, vertical, complementary, supplementary, angle visual, complementary, supplementary, angle no visual. Once you're done, you're done.
For the day?
For the day.
Everyone.
And we have 1 more lesson tomorrow. And then you'll have the last days of this class to work on your project. Let's go. All righty, go ahead and get started.
So basically, all the.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Yep, just those 3 practices and you're done. Bingo. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so you have 3 terms. Complementary, supplementary. Complementary equals has to go with. So has to deal with what a vertical angle is basically the ones that are. So I don't think I made that super clear, and I'm sorry about that. The vertical angles, okay? The complementary angles, right, are the angles that are next to each other inside of 90 degrees, yes? Supplementary angles are angles that are next to each other inside of 180 degrees, right? Vertical angles are essentially the ones that are right across from each other. They'll be the same. So does that make better sense? So these 2 are vertical angles, these 2 are vertical angles.
What is up there?
Root side 360. Yeah. Abram's not here. Oh, is that okay? That's a straight line. That's a straight line. So angle B. Problem is we have a third one. Supplementary of angle. So there's a good question. So there's one question on here that has 3 lines. Okay. Instead of 2 angles, it has 3 angles. Because it's not 2 angles, it's not a supplementary angle. That makes sense? So because it's not 2 angles, it's not supplementary, so you would answer none of the above. We haven't talked about that. Dr. Granath? Oh, great job. Yes, sir. Oh, finished. Great job. Alright, and that's going to be about it. So we're just going to go ahead and finish this up. Thank you.